Hello and welcome to another Fingertip webinar. Today here I'm with Eetu Myllyperä and I am Bahadir Baho Gurkan, designer generalist in Fingertip, and we are going to today talk about the Fingertip mobile, this decide on the go.
Yes, hello from my end too. I am Eetu Myllyperä. I'm working in sales currently at Fingertip, mainly taking care of the domestic market, but also doing some sales in North America as well. So welcome.
So let's give a look to our agenda today. We have already done the self-introduction. We'll first start with introducing Fingertip, the decision-making application, the original one and only from Helsinki, Finland. And then we are going to make a product demonstration on how to use Fingertip mobile. Then we are going to take your questions, we are going to answer them, and if we have time, we are going to talk about a little bit more in summary and the upcoming events. So, shall we start, Eetu?
Sure thing. Yep. Sure thing, Baho.
Let's go.
Okay, so basically, first we're gonna have a short introduction into decision making and into Fingertip. And the Fingertip is the new way to decide. Why we have chosen to work on the field of decision making is that we think that digitizing decision making is very important, and we have to really start to doing it. And basically there are very few organizations that are actually trying to solve the pains in the decision making in digital form. And we also think that there is a huge potential in making better decisions. Here are some figures, the only figures that we're going to show to you today. The left-hand side figure is from Paul Nutt. He wrote a book about decision making and especially why decisions fail. And he noticed that every other decision tends to fail in one way or another. What that means? That means that maybe the outcome of the decision is not the one we wanted, or then we have made the decision, but we couldn't execute it for some reason.
Or they have been executed in a wrong manner. That's also an option. Yeah.
Exactly. The figure on the middle is from The Economist. They made a study. They interviewed hundreds of middle-sized to enterprise-sized businesses in Northern America, and they found out that a third of our working time is actually spent waiting on decisions. What that means is that maybe we're waiting the next meeting to come, or maybe we were waiting the approval of our manager to put things forward.
Or maybe something got lost in this thousands mails where we send to our superior or our colleague or the other stakeholder, and just waiting in a futile manner.
Exactly. Baho, can you tell us about the third figure?
Yeah, also the Harvard Business Review made this research, and it resulted as the 51%, more than the half of all the decisions, are not aligned with the main organizational strategy. What that means is the internal gears of an organization, all the other departments, they are not within harmony. They are not They are not synchronized to each other. They are lacking the common, the natural ground where they all work together, where they sync to one another. So this lack of solution prevents them to be aligned with the common goal that they have within their organization. So yeah, and while we have seen these problems, we have also noticed many other problems surrounding the decision-making domain. One of which is the lack of trust. Many people, many organizational stakeholders are not able to trust one another, or they're missing the knowledge of who is in charge. There are also other issues like flood of meetings, overflow of emails. I mean, I'm pretty sure most of you are familiar with those stuff, your crazy filled inboxes, the poor quality of decision making, the lack of transparency, don't know what to do, don't know who's doing what, and also the poor documentation. The biggest burden of every project management and documentation is how poor it is, how challenging and tiring it is. Actually a decision-making problem as well.
Yes, exactly. And one thing is that we really seldom have the information about the decisions we have made on our hands when we really need it. Like we have to go back, try to find the decisions we have made from somewhere.
Yeah.
People don't even know where they are.
The archiving, you mean? I mean, it's
exactly.
Most of the time it's a big challenge.
Yeah, Fingertip is taking care of these issues. Yeah, like we said, we're working with decisions in Fingertip, and we think that decisions, they're not something like just some abstract things in meeting rooms or such. They're like really concrete things. And for example, a recruitment, of course, that's a decision. We have to, for example, find out if we need to recruit anyone. When we have made the decision that we need more people, we have to make another decision who we're going to recruit and what kind of credentials he must have, or he or she must have. And investment, of course, we have to make a decision if to invest or not, and to where we need to invest.
By the way, I have to interrupt you here too. Questions are already coming, but just so you know, our listeners, we have only 30 minutes, and we are going to we will try to answer your questions by the end of our demonstration. Just to continue where you remained, as Etu said, decisions are happening and occurring basically as we are breathing in every level of our organizations. A simple IT project, from the most complex to simple IT project, there are gallons of decisions, or a campaign plan, or procurement. Getting the product from where, how can you trust, or if your organization is having other stakeholders who is aware of those procurement organization, which is going to be done. So yeah, decisions are happening in every function and every level. And
they're affecting many people, in the organization, not just the ones that are sitting in the meeting room.
Yeah. I mean, it's not just a matter of the executives, but everyone, every employee, everyone becomes a stakeholder, because everyone has their own domain. But what Fingertip does, how Fingertip solves this problem is now. So Fingertip approaches to decision making from a holistic point of view. What it does, it brings a structure to decision making. As you can see on the screen, we are applying the 7-step social decision making process for every decision. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to tell you a decision making story, starting with Walter. Walter has his mobile application on his hands, and in that particular day, Walter has an idea of a new innovative light bulb. He just wants to make it. What he does, he drafts his idea first. And once it's shaped enough, gained the shape which is suitable to share with his colleagues, with the other stakeholders, he puts it into Fingertip and shares it as an account, and he becomes an accountable of this decision. Once he shares it, everybody starts to discuss on the idea. Everybody, including his boss. So what happens, some likes the idea, they support it, they even love it, and they show it in the platform. The other one, they're just not that sure about it, but they're still inside, they're still putting their input. The other one requires a more logical or more concrete discussion, but the information is there, it's curated, and it's time for Walter to make a proposal, which is derived out of this collaboration. So he proposes and he starts to wait for people's stances. Then in this phase, everybody will be able to show their stances. In this case, Walter supports the idea as he's the owner of it. One is procrastinating in showing his stance. The other one, who was not sure about it, he's opposing the idea, the proposal. But another stakeholder, she's supporting as well, and the boss as well. Now, as you can see here, the boss is responsible and the backup. Now, we're going to explain what these letters, symbols are in a short time. But since he's the backup, he says, this is a go, so it's decided, and Walter gets to breathe for 15 minutes. What happens then? They need to execute the decision. So they need to make that light bulb, the innovative light bulb, happen. And no need to panic. Fingertip is also the platform where you can execute your decision. You can assign your tasks. You can create tasks and assign to people who are capable of executing, making things happen. And they start to work. They start to show their work. They start to show their work happening on the Fingertip platform. They complete their tasks. They keep up with their own due dates, and they see if they're reaching their targets. So once everything is done in means of execution, it's time to evaluate. What happens there? Everybody is happy with the result. Time to evaluate. Happy with the result. I'm sorry, there's a problem with the sound. I will just have to fix this. I believe the sound problem has been solved. I'll continue where I remained.
Sorry about that.
Apologies. There was a technical issue. But yeah, it's time to evaluate. People are celebrating that because they reached their goals. But are they the correct people? Were they the people who supposed to celebrate? And at that point, Walter starts to think about, was that the original idea which resulted in? Was that the light bulb that he wanted to innovate? Or were there something wrong? Is there any other things to do on this? So these are all different decisions that Walter has to make. And once they're all done, once this decision is completed after 6 months or so, Walter closes it. And what Fingertip offers there is the archiving. So it's all reportable, and in the future you can turn back and learn from it.
Yeah, and like Baho said, there are 7 phases here, but this life cycle is very flexible. If for example, in the propose phase, you're not getting support and you want to come up with a new idea or a new proposal, you can always go one step back and come up with a new proposal.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can also add people during this life cycle.
Yeah, definitely.
Because in many cases, the ones that are making the decisions are not necessarily the ones that are executing it. So basically, you can add people, for example, in the decide phase, the people who are going to execute the decision, and the people who are added to the decision in the middle of the decision, they have all access to the previous conversations and files and whatever are inside the decision.
That means the transparency that people are always seeking.
Exactly.
So yeah, let's continue with the roles that we just mentioned. So Fingertip is using the accountability responsibility assignment metrics.
Yeah, basically it's a RACI model.
Yeah.
And we have turned it into our own Finnish RC model. As Baho said there, that the one in the earlier case, it was Walter who had the driver, he had the idea of the light bulb, and he drafted the decision. He is basically the accountable, always the one who creates the decision and invites the colleagues with him or her to make the decision. He's the accountable. The responsible ones are the ones that are considered to be the workhorses. So basically, the accountable is expecting them to make the decision happen.
Yeah, exactly.
And the consulted ones, they're the people you want to get their insight. You want
their
to,
opinion,
yes,
their knowledge, know-how.
Exactly. But you don't necessarily require them to really do anything. Mm-hmm. Informed are the ones that you want to keep in the loop. For example, I work at sales, I want to keep the marketing in the loop, that they know what I'm doing, or maybe other way around, the marketing wants to keep me in the loop, what they're doing, so I'm informed in their decisions.
Now, if I can interrupt, this is maybe the biggest solution for the alignment issue which the organizations are having, so that I can include every part of my organization, every member, every stakeholder inside my organization which I want, so that they will be aligned, they will know what's happening. But let's move forward.
Yeah.
Fingertip is also, as a cloud-based application, Fingertip is integrated to Salesforce, the CRM, seamlessly.
Yeah, so Fingertip is a native Salesforce application. What that means, like Bajo said, we're using Salesforce as our platform, and but don't worry, if you don't have Salesforce in your organization, it doesn't matter. Fingertip works perfectly as a standalone application as well.
Exactly. When you get your Fingertip license, you will be having the basic offering of Salesforce CRM as accounts and contacts, which is basically turning Salesforce into something usable by every member of your organization.
And you get the dashboards and reports as well, where with those you can get data, and you can show graphs and stuff like that about your decisions. So it's an easy way to show how you're making decisions.
But without further ado, let's go and see the beef.
The beef.
Now, it says I'm currently offline, but I'm going to just ignore that. Now, this is how Fingertip looks in the Salesforce One application. As we said, Fingertip is a cloud-based application, but it's also serving under Salesforce One application in every device. Either it's iOS or Android device. You can basically go to the marketplace, the application market, and download the Salesforce One application, enter your credentials, Fingertip credentials, and there you go. This is the first screen that you are going to see. What the screen tells you is all the decisions going on inside your organization. Now, this is our generic demo environment. We curated all this data, all these decisions. But since we are talking about the decisions on the go, let's see how it works. This is our main navigation, where we can reach to our decisions, where we can reach to our chat posts, where we can see the dashboards, tasks, or search for people, and likely. But let's see how to create a decision on the go. So with just one click to the new button on the top corner, you will be able to start creating your own decision. So first you will give a title which will tell a glimpse about your decision. In this case, how do we enter the global market with our application? Is our demo title. Then you describe your decision. You talk about the tension to your stakeholders that you want to collaborate with. You explain what needs to be happen. This can be a decision, can be a problem, a challenge, a statement. Yeah, so that abstraction becomes reality, becomes something tangible. Then you set a decision due date. You set a decision due date so that your tension becomes reality as well. Then if you want, as an option, you can set the priority. If it is an urgent decision to be made, or it can wait, or it's normal. Now, this is where the RACI model applies. Then you start to enter the name of your stakeholders. In this case, you can enter a, I don't know, responsible as one of your colleagues. Or if you don't want to add people as individuals, you can just add a group and let the system fetch you the people inside that group. This group can be your marketing department, this group can be your product development department. They will be added. There's a huge group there. I don't know if it was that huge, but it's all right. So once you're done with this information punching in, you just simply click to share. And once you share it, your decision is ready and everybody receives this notification in their mobile phones. So what happens there, the magic, the flow of emails are eradicated with just simply with 2 clicks. So instead of people receiving emails, they will simply receive a notification, see that notification, see that tension, understand it, and with the ease of their mobile devices, they will be able to start collaborating right away.
Exactly, and it's also because of the nice view, basic view you have, the overview of your decisions. It's easy to find the decisions there, and then also the search function is very helpful. So you don't lose your decisions somewhere in the email chains or whatever.
Exactly. I mean, Fingertip brings context to your problems, to your tensions. So the things that you're always talking about, writing emails about, they will get to have a context and they will get to be organized so that they can turn into decisions. So what happens here when you open a decision in Fingertip mobile application, you will be able to see the chat going on inside the decision as we are in the chatter. You will be able to see the description of the decision. You will be able to see the people who are involved with their roles, and if it is provided with their stances. We will get to that just in a second. You will be able to see who is doing what task in which due date. So this little button here, which we call action menu, from this, with just one click, you will be able to share a post, start chatting with your colleagues with just using @mention or selecting the responsible or that role cluster that you have. Again, with just one click, you will be able to assign tasks to the stakeholders of this decision again. And you can add one task to multiple people as well. Once you have enough curated data, you will be able to carry your decision forward. So you will be able to propose, make a decision proposal. So in this case, let's focus on entering the European market. You enter a due date, click to propose, and in a real-time manner, every stakeholder who is involved in this decision will receive a notification for them to show their stances.
I have to say at this point that don't worry, you're not getting always notifications. Only the ones, well, depends on the situation, but for example here when Blaho just moved the decision into proposal phase, it triggers this stance giving state, and only responsibles and consultants, and of course the accountable can give their stance.
Yeah.
So basically informed are just the ones that we want to keep in the loop.
As you can see, informed people here is just a group, not an individual, and they're not allowed to give their stances. As Etru just explained the RACI methodology, or in Finnish term, RC methodology. So yeah, what happens then? People will be able to show their stances if they're supporting or opposing the decision. And we are always encouraging to oppose the decisions because we understand that we found out that when decisions are being opposed, it increased the quality of decisions by 30%.
Yeah, that's a huge amount.
So let's oppose it just for the sake of it. So, but once everybody gives their stances, what happens? We will be able to carry the decision forward, or we don't even have to wait for everyone. Since I'm the accountable, I get to decide what's going to happen, and I'm going to do so. In this case, I can optionally write my comment and just approve the decision. So once it's approved, as we just talked about it, we get to start executing it. We got to start make the tasks happen. Yeah, as you can see, although I post, it's a bit problematic, but yeah, just for the sake of it.
Yeah, and usually this is the time when the in the execution, after the decide phase, when the execution phase comes in, so the task management integrated here is very useful.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you will be able to track not only your own tasks, but also your colleagues' tasks, so that you can manage them. If you're a supervisor or if you're an executive, you'll be able to see what's going on in your organization with a close, with an ability to watch in a close manner.
Exactly, and you can give a hand to a friend if you see that, hey, that guy has a task, I can help him with that.
But yeah, that's basic Fingertip mobile. We now have the time for having your questions.
Okay.
There is one, I guess.
Yeah.
What kind of factors affect the performance of this mobile? Ed, would you like to take this?
Basically, there are some factors. Of course, the internet connection. That's because it's a cloud application, so you need access to an internet connection and the quality of that, of course.
Now, one thing that I would like to add here: Fingertip, although is an enterprise level of application, it often responds as a consumer level application. Based on, regardless of the device, regardless of the internet connection, I mean, we as a using living lab of Fingertip, we have been receiving we have been having a quite nice experience, so to say.
Yeah.
And our customers are as well. But again, as Ed said, the internet connection sometimes may affect the performance.
And the device, like Baha said earlier, that the Salesforce One application is working on iPhones, on Androids, you name it, and also on tablets.
Yeah. Another question: what is the difference between mobile and desktop? Now that's a great question, and we had some previous webinars. We covered the desktop part. Well, as Fingertip is a cloud-based application, it is also able to be reached by your desktop browsers. And it's responsive to every browser, including our infamous Internet Explorer. What happens there, what's the biggest difference there? As you know, your mobile devices are practical computers, the mobile computers, so to say. So they are responding in a much more practical and agile manner. So every detail is much more compact when it comes to Fingertip. But in your browser, in your desktop, you will get to have more. You will get to reach more. You will be able to plan. You will be able to reach to the next level of abstraction of decision, which is the plan object. You will be able to manage your projects. You will be able to make your business strategies. You will be even be able to make your organizational governance.
Exactly, and I have to add that even though you make decisions on your mobile, your colleagues and yourself, you have the access to the same data on every device. So basically, if I make a decision and Baha is using his Fingertip on his desktop, he gets the same notifications that he would.
Exactly. It's a great place to communicate and collaborate and manage. So we are getting close to the end of our time today. To summarize, please.
Yes, thank you. So basically, what we're doing is we're making decision making visible by making the decisions transparent. People can see what's going on. They can see what has been done, what has decided,
and by giving them the structure that they have been seeking for years.
Exactly. Secondly, we make decision making measurable. We get huge amount of data out of these decisions. We can give our emotional feel during the decisions, and with the dashboards and reports, we can make nice presentations out of how we're making how we're making and how we're executing the decisions.
Yeah, since tasks are being used for the execution of decisions, with Fingertip we are able to measure the outcome, measure the effectiveness of and efficiency of those tasks, like the estimated time and the real time put for the task execution. With all those information, with all these data, you'll be able to measure not only your decisions but also your decision quality.
Yeah, and the contribution.
Exactly.
And thirdly, we make decisions manageable. So with this nice UI, UX, we're giving a clear view what's going on in your organization, and you can understand what you need to do by when and basically what is going on.
Exactly. With the, as I said, with the context that your collaborations gain, with the decision-centric approach to project management, you will be able to manage nearly basically every cluster of your organization.
Just to go through quickly what we're doing, the holistic way of making decisions. First, you have the driver. You have a vision. You want to do something. You draft it. Invite the people with you. Share it to them. They get the notification. This is now cooking. Then at some point you have the proposal. People can give their stances. You decide it. Once you've decided, you move it to execution phase where you do it with the help of tasks, for example. Then the important part to evaluate what you have done and what's the outcome. And finally, you close it, archive it, and it's always reusable from the cloud.
Thank you, Etu. Now, if you want to learn more about social decision making, you can visit the website, the link that's visible on your screens. It is page.fingertip.fi/get/a/book. I'm repeating, page.fingertip.fi/get-a-book. You can also track our next events from our webpage, fingertip.org/events. We're going to be visiting Stockholm upcoming. You can see us there. We will be active in the Helsinki design events. And also there will be some breakfast events if you are in Helsinki. The summer is coming, the Vappu is coming. So we will be celebrating, we will be having a breakfast in honor of Vappu in the upcoming month.
I have to say that breakfast here at Telakkaranta in the beautiful old buildings, and the sun is shining there, and then the sea is close, so it's quite nice.
That we're in a special place, and we would be very much happy to share it with you. But thank you for your time. Today we have arrived at the end of our time. It was great to have you here too.
Yeah, you too, Baho, and thank you all who participated this webinar.
Have a great day and have a great week.